Hey guys, welcome back to Angel Angela, and as you guys can see from the title, I'm going to be talking about is the narcissist capable of changing, or can the narcissist change? That's the topic that someone wanted me to talk about. So, and I think that that's a very valid question. It's a valid topic to speak on because we all question this about narcissistic people when we're going through it, when we don't really understand narcissism, when we are experiencing narcissism through a relationship and maybe family, but we don't understand the disrespect yet. We don't understand how manipulative, how disrespectful. We understand the feelings, right? We understand the feelings, but now we're putting words to the feelings. So a lot of times when we're putting the words to the feelings, we're telling ourselves, I knew something was off. I knew something was off about this. I had my suspicion about this. I felt like I was being lied to, and the person that was lying to me was very aware that they were lying to me. And I couldn't explain the evil behind it. And if I explained it to people, to someone, no one would believe me, or they would just tell me to like leave it alone or move on. And when you see the narcissist branching off with someone else and they're treating that person differently, or they're doing things with that person that they promised to do with you, when you're still trying to understand where all this is coming from, or why this person, it's like why this separation is unlike any other separation. You're going back thinking about things that were abnormal, things that made you think, what would cause someone, it's like if something doesn't work out, it doesn't work out and you move on. But what would cause someone to repeatedly hoover me, repeatedly try to deceive me, and then treat me as if I did something to them, and then never even apologize and even laugh about the fact that they're not going to give you closure? And the emotions that they show you do not add up to what you experience, or it just does not add up to how you treated them. So you would think to yourself, did you do, when you eliminate people, you want to think to yourself, did this person did more good than bad, or more bad than good, right? So a lot of times you can forgive people because you're like, you know what, this person has done way more good than bad. And it can bother someone to think that, hey, this person did more bad than good, and if I can forgive them for that, why won't they give me closure for the fact that I was more good to them than evil? So I'm someone that they can forgive. So why can't they forgive me? You'll find yourself almost like you feel like you did something wrong, or you should try to like fix whatever this is, or you still want to negotiate or talk about it, even though deep down inside you gave it your all, or you brought more value to the relationship, and you feel like you know you want to be appreciated at the end of the day. You don't want to be, and even if you don't expect someone to goodbyes are never easy, right? Goodbyes are never supposed to be pretty or anything, but it's the disrespect, it's the gaslighting, it's the lying, right? They can't even tell the truth. It's like you could have all the evidence in the world, and these people will continue to gaslight you. So, when these people ghost you, when you don't hear from them, when you see that they've moved on to other people, you'll think to yourself, like, have they changed? Or did they just treat me like that? Or was I that much of a loser that I got treated this way by these people because I didn't have boundaries and I cared too much? I gave them too much fuel that they decided to, it's my fault because I should have had boundaries, right? You'll blame yourself. It's my fault because I should have had boundaries. But one thing I've learned, right, when you heal and you have boundaries and you come across empaths and people that they don't really understand narcissism, and they're very kind to you and they're very giving to you, sometimes you have to tell those people, like, hey, I'm a good person, but you can't be like that with people because people can exploit you. Like, you have to have a limit. Like, I understand that, you really want a friend, but me seeing certain things, certain traits about you, I can tell that you're someone who's the perfect prey for a narcissist predator, right? Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Because you treat everyone how you want to be treated, and you don't get off on exploiting others, right? So then you go back to finding yourself, blaming yourself like there was something wrong with you. And you realize nothing was wrong with me because to my core, I know who I am. And when narcissists do the things that they do, they use things that you're not aware of. They use these things to validate their actions, right? To make you feel like it's something wrong with you, or you deserved what they did, or they taught you a lesson, right? Or you're ignorant to evil, so I'm going to be evil to you because God put me in your path to be evil to you, because there's good people and I've accepted that this is who I am, and that's what I have to give. That's what I have to give you. I don't treat everyone like that. With other people, I act good because that's what they deserve. I give people what they deserve, right? The narcissist feels like they're God. When you heal, you understand that you're not God. You understand that you got God. God uses you, but you're not God, right? You understand that God could get into your head to expose things about someone that they might not even tell you. God will expose these things, will say these things to you. And all you got to do is observe. So you realize, hey, I have all this power. With knowledge comes power. Got all this knowledge. I got power, and I can use my power for bad. But I'm making a choice. So a lot of times these narcissists, when you really think about it, some of these people were older than you. Some of these men, when you're younger, you're getting with narcissists older than you, right? But they are more cautious about how they want to be treated, right? Or they wouldn't want no one doing the things that they're doing to their kids or to their daughters, right? They wouldn't want the same things that they put out. They wouldn't want that shit done to them. So when you see them and you're seeing them with their family, or they got married and they have children, and you're thinking, oh, they changed. They treat that person better, right? And they could treat that person better out of the fear that everything from their past can catch up to them. So that means that a lot of times when narcissists change, is because there's something impacting that change. They're not changing because they might want to. They might be changing because it's convenient for them. So yeah, they might feel like no one's going to play those games with my kid, right? But you don't know what they're doing behind closed doors. They might still be, you're looking from the outside in. Oh, hasn't the narcissist looks like they've changed. They might even brag about changing. I'm a family man now. Yeah, I'm not a narcissist anymore. I'm not this, I'm not that, because I'm truthful now. I might not be truthful to everyone, but I'm truthful to myself. And if I'm not truthful to someone, it's because I'm protecting their feelings. So guess what? If they're cheating on their wife with someone who's aware that they're married, the narcissist feels like I'm not cheating. If that person they're cheating with, they're able to manipulate them because they're young, like their daughter, they're not thinking to themselves, hey, just like my daughter is easily manipulated, this person, I'm manipulating them even though I'm telling them the truth. I'm still manipulating them because they don't really know nothing about the world or what's going on. Because you're supposed to be wiser, emotionally more intelligent. But you're seeing yourself through others. That person is making you feel young. You're changing because you're changing. You're using that person's energy to fuel you. So you might think from the outside looking in, the narcissist has changed. Look at them, right? Such a happy family. Or you might go to someone's household and you're like, oh, this is what a family is supposed to look like compared to mine. You don't know that that man has a whole bunch of kids all over the place that he don't take care of, but he takes care of his wife and her children who he raised like his own. And in his mind, he might believe, hey, what's in the past is in the past. I'm a good person now. I go to church. I'm old. I made mistakes in the past. But there's no point on me trying to right my wrongs when it already happened. So much time has passed by. Too much time. Even if I try to do something about it, those other children of mine, they're just going to want money or help. So I can't be there for them, um or that relationship, that bond is never going to be what it was supposed to give. Well, or I'm too old now, I don't have anything to offer. I can't teach you anything when everything I was supposed to teach you I didn't do. How can you respect me as a teacher, as a parent, when I didn't do any of these things? I wouldn't respect anybody who's trying to teach me something when they've done the opposite of that. So a lot of narcissists look to find new people that don't know them completely, or start a new network of people, or they go and get with a new supply, right? And you might think they really change. It might seem like they've changed, and yeah, narcissists do change, but not in the way that you think, because from your core as a good person, right? In your deep down in your core as an empath, you're a good person. You don't go around you don't get off on exploiting people. You wouldn't feel right about using people. You know that life and circumstances can put you in bad situations where you might become someone that you don't want to be. And you do everything, you sacrifice everything, because you know that you can be just like the narcissist. You can become just like these people. Sometimes you can do things, but when it happens to you, You realize, hey, the reason you shouldn't do things to other people is because you're able, when you're the one doing things, it's easy for you to move on because you're not the one being affected by these things. It's easy for you to move on. You realize that you're not the one when you're the one effing over someone else, you're not going to feel a thing, right? No matter how small that thing is, you're not going to feel anything. You're going to feel like I can move past this cuz you're not affected by it. When you're affected by something and someone does something to you without giving you closure, you get the bad end of the stick, so you see how bad that feels. So what happens then? You learn right from wrong. You learn that communication is needed, right? Imagine trying to communicate with a narcissist how you feel and they don't want to hear it. They're ignoring you, or they're yelling at you, cursing at you, or they don't want to hear it. You know, your tears don't mean nothing to you and they want to have sex. Your emotions don't mean anything. So when you deal with a true narcissist and you realize that they don't care about other people's emotions, and you sit around with them for months and years, and you're thinking to yourself, well, they did it to me. Maybe the narcissist picks and chooses who they treat in a narcissistic manner, right? So maybe it just was with me till they find the type of woman or the type of man that they want to be with. But when you're standing on principle and when you're standing on wisdom and growth, there are certain things that you wouldn't do anymore, right? So like I said, a lot of these narcissists that women get with, they're older than you. They should know more than you. Some of these people, you grew up with them, and they've been dogging you out, talking bad about you since a kid. And then you get older and then you're like, why were these adults saying these things about me, or wishing my downfall, or saying, oh, you're going to get pregnant at a young age, you're going to do this. Why were they saying so many things about me? And they're adults, right? And you get to a certain age where you're not even close to them in age. You're not even close to them in age, but you're thinking as an adult. Back then, when they did what they did, and how that behavior hasn't changed, right? They might be a lot older now, and now that you're an adult, you see the toxic traits, and now you call them out on it because you see that they don't stop no matter what you do, no matter what you do to try to satisfy these people so that they don't talk bad about you. You realize that when you do great things, they don't care about that. The behavior, the toxic behavior continues, and you see that they don't change no matter how much you plead with them. You beg them to stop, or you tell them what bothers you, or what's affecting you, or what's hurting you, and somehow they turn it around on themselves. And then when you start bringing up things from your childhood, or things like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Why'd you do this? And I was a kid, you were an adult. Or why you couldn't handle these things in a different way. They don't want to hear it, right? They don't want to hear it. Sometimes it's shame, guilt, many different things, right? But it's their inability to evolve, or to change, or to take accountability. And it's the fact that when you say these things, they'll even put words in your mouth. They'll start saying things that you never said. After you have these conversations with them, they go around telling other people things that you didn't say, or accusing you of doing things that you did not do. And you realize the behavior is not going to stop. You realize the behavior is not going to stop. So you realize these people are not emotionally intelligent. So just like so when I think about a narcissist changing, this is what I think. I think someone who is physically fighting, they're physically fight. When they get mad, they physically fight. They might throw some shit. And I'm not saying you're a narcissist because you do these things, because empaths can do this shit too when they're fed up with motherfucking narcissists, right? You could go crazy too. But what I'm telling you is that there's stages, right? You might see, this is the thing with an empath. The empath can do these things out of emotion, anger to the people they love, to the people that they feel betrayed by. But you're not gonna see you're not gonna see the empath go hard for nobody else. You know what I'm saying? For a stranger, they could care less. It's for the people closest to them. With a narcissist, they don't care who you are. They're picking and choosing who they want to fucking go and play games with. They don't have to get close to you to be playing games with you. So a narcissist can go from fighting you to now they're like, oh, I can't fight you because if I fight you, I can go to jail. So yeah, I'm going to change those things about me because the last person I was with got me in trouble, or the last person I was with almost got me in trouble, but I blamed them for everything and I was able to get away because I blamed them and I did this and I did that. So the narcissist might change in a sense where they might not become physically abusive to the next supply, or they might be, but because they're still learning not to be physically abusive. They're still learning, where they feel like the last supply, they got beat the fuck up, right? And the narcissist feels like, I almost went to jail, but that other person went to jail. They had to pay for that shit. And I don't want to tell you the truth, because if I tell you the truth, you're not going to want to be with someone like me, because you're going to be afraid that I do those same things to you. So the narcissist can change in a sense where they might not beat you, but they might push you. They might do little things that are really aggressive. They might choke you. And then in their head, it's, oh, but the last person, I used to choke the shit out of them and do this and that and this and that. Oh, and they want you to submit to them, right? But when you look back and you think about it, and especially as an adult, you're thinking, what kind of grown-ass man, behaves that way or has no self-control? But then if a woman hits you, you're going to say, oh, see, the woman hit me, so that's why I hit her, because she deserved to get hit because she hit me. So what about women who don't hit you, who don't put their hands on you, but you can't control yourself and you hit them, and then when everything escalates, you go and lie and tell other people that she hit you, and you defended yourself because you know that people are going to look down on you and they're going to see you as the narcissist that you are. See, a lot of people think the narcissist has changed, but once the narcissist gets exposed by anyone with little things like that, and everybody can see through them, because they're wondering why you putting your hands on somebody and that person didn't put their hands on you, and you older than her, so you should be old enough to know better. Because now if a woman hits you, you might feel like, yeah, she deserved it because she should know not to hit a man. But what happens when a woman, she know not to hit you, she wouldn't even dare to, and you're just taking advantage of that because you know she's not even going to try to defend herself. That makes you a bully, right? That makes you a bully. So I remember times where the narcissist would argue with me and I could tell he wanted to escalate things. And if someone heard him, people around would tell him to calm down or shut up, or, you know, or they'll, hey, are you okay? You know, they don't like when people are defending you. So the narcissist has to make themselves seem like you're causing them to behave this way. So when you look back and you see that a lot of the bad behavior, they wanted to make it seem like you were causing it, but they were going into these situations plotting on you, right? Wishing you wrong. And when you heal, you see that you don't get off on doing that to nobody. You wouldn't even want to be around people you don't like, or it's not necessarily you don't like, but they might not have the same energy as you. You don't want to be around nobody they're not on your same frequency. You don't want that around you. So you realize that the narcissist, how can they change if they're always going into different people's realities and they're trying to live off other people's energies, right? How can someone change if they're always getting fuel by gossiping on others, doing harm to others, letting greed take over their families and breaking families apart over money? How can people like that change? Yeah, they could change, right? Just like a narcissist can sit there and dog you out, and then they can go and treat other people well, and then they can say, I don't. You could say, why are you treating other people better than me? But you don't treat me that way. And the narcissist can say, oh, I don't treat other people that way. I only treat you like that because you make me treat you like that. They don't make me they don't make me treat them like that. You make me treat you like that, right? So when you think back and you're like, well, why would you want to be around anyone that you don't like as a person? You feel like they bring the worst parts of you out, right? So the narcissist, so you're pleading with someone who they need to change things within themselves, but they're going from person to person, and then when they leave, you're assuming that maybe they've changed. You're still wondering, you're still doubting yourself. You think, oh, they just did this with me, right? But who would only a narcissist is capable of lying to someone repeatedly committing the same crime over and over and over and over again, and really not feel like they did anything wrong, or it wasn't that serious what they did, right? So I like to think of a narcissist, when I think of them changing, I think of someone who used to be physically abusive. Now they're not physically abusive, but they're going to still try to put the blame on you, even though they're not as physically as they might still be physically abusive, but not in the same way. They might just be a little bit more aggressive, or they might try to play fight with you, and because they know they're stronger than you, they're like more aggressive with you, doing little things that are just aggressive, and you might tell them stop or don't do that, and they'll just keep doing it, and you might even think they're being playful, but in time you'll see that it's done intentionally. And when it's done intentionally, they want you to be at fault for their own bad behavior, or they'll accuse you. If they slip up, they'll accuse you of being the one to start everything. So the narcissist can go from being really physically abusive, and that's what the narcissist said to me, even one time. He goes, yeah, first I was verbally abusive and now I'm physically abusive. Like when he hit me, he was like, now I'm physically abusive. Like he understood there was a problem, there was a pattern to him, and he's like, now you finally got to witness some of it, but it's not all of it. It's just a taste of what I used to do. This is why I say I know for a fact, just being around narcissists my whole life and seeing how they move, just the change in them is not the change that you think, right? Yeah, they can go into other friendships, relationships, and they seem like regular people. A lot of those people won't be able to tell that they're narcissists, right? That's why they keep a lot of things hidden, because who wants to be, I mean, even us as empaths, who wants to be, you wouldn't want people to bring up things from your past when you know they're things from your past. You know those things don't define you. So this is why when the narcissist discards you, they want to move fast right away. They're like, I gotta move fast. Who wants to live in the past? You're living in the past. As soon as they dump you, they're saying that you're living in the past when everything is fresh, right? Everything is fresh. They haven't gave you closure, explanation, because in their mind, they've been plotting for a while already, right? So the narcissist will be like, you're living in the past. You need to heal, or you need to move on because I've moved on, right? They'll move on really quickly. So who wants to be reminded of their past? Who if you tell me I'm the same person I used to be when I was in middle school, I'll be like, you're fucking crazy, right? So that's how the narcissist views it when they move on with the new supply. So you have to think to yourself, someone who believes in their mind that they could go fucking over people, and that just because things are going their way, and they told themselves that what they've done should be forgiven by the universe. Like, it's forgiven, it's in the past. What I did in the past, what I did to that person a year ago, that shit ain't got nothing to do with who I am as a person. Because like I said, when you're the one doing wrong to people, you're not gonna feel the suffering, because you're the one, the person that's hurt is going to be doing the suffering. So the fact that you don't care shows a lack of immaturity. It shows a lack of immaturity, a lack of growth, a lack of empathy for others. Um, and for you to feel like, even when that person is still healing, time has went by and that person is still healing, the narcissist is the type of person that will feel like, hey, I've changed. You're still living in the past. They felt like the moment they discarded you, they left you in the past. And if you want to live in the past, something is wrong with you. But a lot of times, being alone helps you see things clear, and it helps you heal, and it helps you understand the narcissist, why they are the way they are. You understand, you understand that it's you who's suffering. You understand that they can't empathize with you unless it's happening to them. So now you get to see there's a big disconnection between you and this person, because this person can only feel pain when it's happening to them. So right there and then, you're learning, hey, this person can pretend like they've changed, but there's no possible way that someone can change if they can't understand that they shouldn't judge others, because the same things that they wish on others can happen to them, right? So speaking on people's, like I said, a lot of these narcissists speaking on people's children, a lot of the things that that narcissists talk about other people, these things can happen to them. And sometimes they don't happen to them, and that's why they don't change, because they got enablers around, or they got people that make them feel like what they've done wasn't wrong because they didn't like you. You know, they're telling the narcissist, oh yeah, you could do better. Oh yeah, I told you you could find someone with who's prettier, who's more attractive, or who's got more money, right? You could do, you know, they feed into the what the narcissist says, just because they never got to know you, or the narcissist never really wanted to give you the opportunity to really know the people around them, because they didn't want those people to pick your side, or they saw how eventually you win people over, because a lot of those people see through the narcissist. They know the narcissist for who they are. So you got to think about it. How can the narcissist, when the narcissist changes, right, and they're with you, when they're with you, even with you in a relationship with you, you don't see that people from their past are saying, oh, he's still a narcissist, or he just wants to be with different women, or he needs, you know, he needs to grow up, she needs to grow up. You know, a lot of times the people around them are telling you that the narcissist isn't going to change. Like, they've been knowing him or her for so long, they're not going to change. And it's you who sees them as change, like someone different, right? And the narcissist likes you because they see that you see the illusion that they put in front of you. That's why they like you. Don't you notice that the more you start to figure them, like their true self, because we all have our true self, right? And the evil inside of them, once you start to see that, don't you see that they just start showing you who they are? They're not embarrassed. They have no shame in who they are, and they'll just go to someone else and pretend with you and love bomb you until they do a final discard, or you have to do a final discard. And even with that, you'll see that there's never no remorse, no empathy ever. It's always like a game. Like, it's like a little kid that's like playing games and doesn't get it, and like, you're like, don't you get why you're doing what you're doing is wrong? And they're like, no, I don't get it. I don't care if you don't understand me. Well, leave. Now that you see that I'm a phony, just leave me alone, because I won't bother you. You know, they still want to make themselves appear desirable in some type of shape or form. But most narcissists, they don't change in the way that you think, right? And like I said, a lot of these narcissists, when you really think about it, they were supposed to know more than you, or be wiser, more mature. And then you look back and you're like, you know, when I look at situations like me and the narcissist helping his aunt move into her new spot, and we're like moving stuff, and we're driving back and forth, and you know, I remember I was driving, but he was doing most of the lifting, and I helped a little bit, you know, but nothing too crazy. And at the end, because his uncle was also helping, because he had a pickup truck, and at the end his uncle was like, do you guys want to go get breakfast at this diner? And the narcissist is like, no, we're just tired, we're ready to go home. And the uncle, he asked me, he goes, did he give you some money at least for gas or something? And I was like, no, it's fine. Like, I don't need any gas. Like, it's fine. He can keep it. And then he's like, well, I told him to split that with you, right? Because you also helped a lot, you know. You drove over here. This motherfucker didn't even drive with his own damn car over here. You drove over here. And I'm like, no, it's fine. So then the uncle is like, I didn't say nothing to the narcissist. So then the uncle, that's when he offered to take us to the diner for breakfast. Because in his mind, it was like he didn't even give her no money, no gas money, nothing. Maybe he'll give her gas money when they leave, but let me do my, let me do my part and take them out for breakfast. So he's like, oh, you guys want to come for breakfast? And when he saw that the narcissist was like, nah, like we're going to leave, and he tried. He even told him again, he said, come on, it shouldn't take that long. It doesn't even look that busy. He was really trying to get us to go into the diner. And then the narcissist says to him, it's okay, Unc. We could do something together, just you and I, another day. Right now, like, we gotta go type of thing. He's like, we can get, he's like, maybe another day, like, we could get together another day. So right there and then, looking back, when I saw the expression, like the eye movements, I could feel the energy, and I could feel like his uncle just asked me about, if he gave me any money. Then he offers breakfast. So in my mind, because I'm used to being around like respectful men, in my mind, I already knew like he want to take us out for breakfast because he want to make sure as a woman, like I I get treated with respect. You know what I'm saying? I could tell that's what it was right there and then. But because the narcissists, they're not used to behaving that way, because to them, they're only being nice to love bomb people or to make people like them, or, they pick and choose when they want to be a good person, right? Instead of them thinking to themselves, like, I ain't gonna give her no money, so we might as well just go to breakfast. It was like, he didn't even want to share that energy. Like, he's like, nah, like, me and him could do something later, right? And then later on, I remember the narcissist, telling me, because his uncle is a businessman, so he's telling me, oh, my uncle, he don't want to put me on, and he helps my dad with a whole bunch of shit, but when I ask him about something, it seemed like he don't really, like, he don't really care or want to be bothered. Like, he wanted that male image, right? He wanted that role model, like, let's go fishing type of thing. He wanted that with this uncle. That's what he wanted, but he wasn't getting that type of energy. But he don't even realize the reason he's not getting that kind of energy is because his uncle already saw through you. He's seeing how you treating me as a woman. He's seeing if you're a provider as a father. He's seeing how you treat others. He's seeing all this shit, and he feel like, why should I help you? So a lot of times narcissists run across people that they will talk bad about, or they will call them narcissists, or say something about them, not knowing that these people could see through the narcissist without having to know them. See, the narcissist can pretend to change. They could even really say, I've changed, or really want to change. But just like an empath, we can go through stages in our life where we're not that person, or we grew up from a lot of things. We grew from these things. The narcissist, when they lack empathy and they do things to you, they're just showing to you that they haven't grew from certain things. And if you haven't grew from certain things, you're going to repeat certain things. And even when you repeat those things and you learn those things, they got a lot of, it's like years of shit to catch up on. That's like impossible, because at that age, you should already know it's wrong, right? It's like trying to tell a pedophile that it's wrong what they're doing. It's like telling a serial killer or someone who's raping women and doing weird shit. It's like telling them it's wrong what they're doing. Yeah, they could say they're not doing it no more. They can pretend to be living a normal life, but it doesn't mean that they've changed. It doesn't mean that their behaviors change. It doesn't mean that their interests change. It doesn't mean that their control has changed, how they want to control situations and people. It doesn't mean just because they don't hit you no more that they're not going to get revenge on you, but in a different way, right? It's like, oh, I can't hit you, I can't do certain things, but I'm going to get you. I'm going to deprive you of your sleep. I'm going to stress you out right before you take a big test. I'm going to make sure when you have an accomplishment, I'm not going to be there for you. Because I've changed, but I have to change certain things so that I won't be seen as a bad person, or you won't have proof, right? So maybe back then I would have cursed you out on the phone and said all these nasty things to you. But now, because the last person recorded me, or when they tried to accuse me of domestic violence, they had all these pictures and all these text messages. So now I've changed. I don't do that no more. I don't send certain text messages and things like that anymore. So just like when a narcissist changes, it's like they could be someone who, let's just say they're stealing, right? They're stealing. And they steal from a family member. The family member is like, family's like, I don't want nothing to do with you, whatever. And that person might feel like, oh, well, I wasn't close to that family member anyway, right? And now they go do it to someone else. But that person they did it to, they see how hurt that person is, right? That person might be stressed out, right? That person might empathize with that person because they're close to them. And they might feel bad and never do it again. And then they might feel like, I never want to make someone feel bad. Or they might have something stolen of theirs. Someone steals something from you, and now you know how it feels, and you're like, oh, I'm never stealing again because that shit sucks, right? But a narcissist is the type that would be like, okay, I won't steal from someone close to me, but I'm going to go to the store and go steal a whole bunch of shit at the store. So then the narcissist might continue to do this until they get in trouble, and now they're like, okay, I shouldn't shoplift. I thought it was cool to do it because it wasn't someone close to me, but now I could get myself in big trouble, right? So a narcissist, okay, all these things are things that anybody could do. An empath can do all these things. You could do all these things, but there has to come a point in your life, especially when you're young, right? If you haven't learned these lessons as a young person, then what you think is going to happen in your like teenage adult years, you're going to be having to you're going to have to learn all these lessons the hard way. And even when you learn these lessons the hard way, society might not give you a second chance. So you might just feel like, well, since I don't get a second chance, I'm going to just keep doing it. And in my mind, I feel like I'm a good person. But to society, you're a narcissist. You're evil. You don't give a fuck about nobody. You're not considerate of nobody. You're not trying to accept what you did was wrong and do something to change it, because if you don't do it, you're just going to keep going back to jail. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's going to change. Yeah, you might feel like you don't deserve certain things, you weren't taught certain things, but nothing's going to get better till you get better, right? So when you're dealing with a narcissist, when it comes to them changing, okay, the narcissist can change in a sense of I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to get caught, right? Or they might feel like the narcissist might feel like, okay, when I do this, uh, I know that it's bad to steal, but I'm stealing from a store, so it's not like I'm stealing from someone close to me. They that right there is that mentality right there is showing you that they haven't even learned they haven't learned that you show people who you are. So you can say I'm not a thief because I don't steal from no one around me, but you're still a thief because you're still a thief. That's the bigger picture of it. So you can say I'm not a narcissist because I'm treating this person good compared to this last person I was with. So I'm not a narcissist anymore because you're not going to hold that over my head, right? But if you can't take accountability or if you can't take accountability, then how can you possibly change? You could change person. You could say, "Oh, I'm not stealing from the people closest to me." But if someone sees you, or if you try to get a job later on, and you stole from someone's, uh, say you stole from a business, and now you go in and try to get a job at a different location, and that person remembers you, that person is not going to say, "Oh, well, I didn't know you," or "that was a long time ago." That person is going to say, "Hey, this is the person that was stealing at the other location." And so you show people your value and who you are. So the narcissist doesn't understand the principle of things, meaning that you are who you are behind closed doors. You might say, when I'm with my family, I'm one way, but when I'm on the streets, it's something else, right? You might say that, but someone who isn't a narcissist, they're gonna behave on principalities at all times. Someone who's learned, who's grew from toxic behavior, who's matured, who's not a narcissist but can be viewed as a narcissist. Because a lot of people got narcissistic traits and people will accuse you of being a narcissist. Certain people that have narcissistic traits can change, yes. But a true narcissist is someone that's like, their whole life is going to always be like from one delusion to a different delusion, from one realization to another realization. And everything is always going to be done with the purpose of getting fuel. Everything is going to be done with the intent to get praise or to get something out of it. So a lot of narcissists, they change, but it's always going to be a different addiction or something else, or they can change their life. They could be someone who they were on drugs, they living reckless, and now they decide, "Oh, I'm gonna change my life. I'm gonna go to church. Now I'm gonna devote myself to God." But now when they're in the church, now they're judging people. They're going around, even people that they've wronged. They still don't want to take full accountability, because now what they'll say is, "Oh, this person, they're still mad at me for who I used to be. I've been saved. I've been reborn. I've been baptized. They're making it about themselves, not what they did. So they're invalidating. They might change, and now they become this Christian, but now they're invalidating everything, that the people's feelings, emotions, the stuff that people still got to live with till this day, because to them it's like that happened a long time ago. So what if I did that? If I can change and now I'm a Christian and I'm doing all this, why are you still stuck on something that I did to you in the past? I don't understand. Because the narcissist doesn't have, they still haven't grasped the concept that when you're hurting people, it's the person suffering that's feeling the pain. They're not feeling the pain because they're the ones causing the pain. You know what I'm saying? It's like burning somebody and you're like, bitch, why are you crying about me burning you? Like, why are you still crying? And it's like, bitch, because it still stings. Bitch, because it left a permanent scar. You ain't got to live with the scar. I do. So, yeah, narcissists will change, but you'll never see them take accountability. They'll never truly apologize. And if they do, they want supply again. They want, it's like an ulterior motive, or, it's always something behind it. But a lot of times they won't apologize. They won't, if they were to win $1 million, they're not going to say, hey, right before I got with this new supply and got $1 million, I had someone who took care of me for years. Let me at least give them something, something for having my back, because I got blessed with something even though I didn't deserve it. The narcissists, they're not going to take a look back and say, they're going to feel like these are my blessings, this is my shit, and that's it. So you can't basically you can't expect nothing from them. Once they've done something to you, that's all you're gonna get from them. So a lot of times we think we want change because we think if the narcissist changes, maybe they'll come back and apologize. But a lot of these narcissists, I'm telling you, you can wait a whole lifetime. They can abandon their children and never look back. You'll be a full grown adult, and your father never came back to apologize, or your mother never came back to apologize, or they're blaming your other parent still, so they don't have the concept of time. They don't have the concept of the fact that they're blame shifting someone who doesn't even think about them, who doesn't even bash them, who's not even living in the past. That means that they're still living in the past in their guilt, and their guilt is saying that they don't deserve to be forgiven. And their guilt is saying they don't deserve to be forgiven because they know that they don't care, or they wish they would have made different choices, or they know that their guilt also is aware that they don't have any type of healthy boundaries to even give you anyway. They don't have anything of value to give you. So they're gonna have to project it into bashing that other parent. So that's what it shows when it comes to narcissists changing. I mean, some of these, like I said, some of these narcissists, they won't look back. You won't hear back from them. They don't care about their children. They're in and out of their children's life. They're still going around making more babies, creating more life that they are not able to take care of or provide for. Selfish. So they could go and change and go and treat, get married and treat their wife and her children like, like they could say, hey, I made mistakes in the past that people aren't going to forgive me for. People aren't going to forgive me for these mistakes. so I'm gonna just have to move on. So if the narcissist doesn't want to make peace with their past, even in their new life, by including their children into their new life, or it's going to show you what type of person they're even married to, what type of woman they're even married to. Is she even in her right mind to see that it's wrong with that she's taking care of someone that is not worthy of change? Everyone's worthy of change, but you should want change for your, like, true change, right? For yourself. And when people are helping you make these changes for yourself, you should want to make these changes in a real way. But what a narcissist will do is they'll get with other people, they'll pretend like they've changed. Those people won't hold them accountable for things that they've done in their past that they should make a right if they really are this person they claim. And understand that when the narcissist doesn't have a concept of when they've wronged someone, just as many times as the narcissist can lie to you, cheat on you, slap you around, whatever they do, right? It's hard to trust them if they're not persistent in their change. So you might be suffering from reactive abuse from everything that they've done. So when you're trying to trust them again and they give you a reason not to trust them, you might become alarmed and say, you know, what happened? Your phone went dead and you were supposed to be home at this time. You might become alarmed, right? And if the narcissist has changed, and truly changed, they would think to themselves, I really hurt this person. You know, they're still reacting from all the lying that I've done. So that's why they're defensive about my whereabouts. So all I have to do, just as many times as I lied to them, cheated on them, I did it a lot of times, I should be able to prove to them a lot of times that I'm doing the right thing. You know, I should, when if they react and I know I'm not doing anything, I know I shouldn't get mad because I did do these things and they have a right to feel how they feel, right? Because that will imply that the narcissist understands that person. They're empathizing with that person's emotions and they're thinking to themselves, okay, I understand how they feel. I understand why they are the way that they are. And I understand that forgiving me is going to take time, because just as much as I was doing a lot of bullshit, I'm going to have to receive a lot of bullshit, right? But no, a narcissist wants to be forgiven right away. They don't want to be held accountable, and they want to be forgiven right away. And if you have a moment of insecurity because they did something, they're going to say, oh, you still haven't moved on from that? You're insecure about that? That's going to be another excuse for me to do it again, right? So change is like kryptonite to the narcissist, because it's like they're really allergic to change, because to them, they don't feel like they're doing anything wrong. And now, if anything, you're insulting their intelligence, you're insulting them, and they're like, look, I'm really trying to change, and now you're insulting me, so I might as well, what's the point on changing when you're going to keep accusing me of the same things that I've been doing to you? So you're never going to see someone who is mature, who's going to be the bigger person and understand why that person is the way they are with them. What you're going to get from them is them moving on to someone else. They're going to say, I'm just going to move on with someone else and start all over. So if you can't hold yourself accountable for your own actions, and and then how are you going to move on to the next person? So the narcissist feels like they can recreate themselves over and over again, right? And um, the thing that the narcissist also doesn't understand is that even after all the bad that they've done to you, you loving them enough to forgive them, even when you can feel you can feel that they're becoming angry with you for holding themselves accountable. um you could feel them getting angry with you, and still forgive them. It's like you're like, you understand it's you who should be mad, and you're trying to understand why they're so upset, and you can find ways to empathize with them, and even when they're treating you wrong, when they're not taking accountability of themselves, because you have something called forgiveness, right? So narcissists, they will move on with other people. They're showing you that they don't understand what forgiveness is. And just because you forgive someone doesn't mean you can forget what happened, right? You're forgiving them, but you can't forget it. In order for me to forget it, you you have to you have to make me forget it, with your actions. Show me something else, different, change behavior. So um, the narcissist, they don't understand forgiveness. So that pattern, because the narcissists, they're not the ones in pain, and when they move on, they're happy, and you think that they're different to other people. But when other people start seeing certain characteristics about them, the narcissist can't forgive that. Or if that person embarrasses the narcissist, or they make fun of the narcissist, or they criticize the narcissist can't take that, right? This is an unforgiving person. So when this person is being criticized by their new partner, they're already taking mental notes on getting them back, because you're dealing with someone who expects people to be perfect while not being perfect themselves, and you're dealing with someone who really doesn't feel like they're in the wrong when it comes to anything until it's done to them. And even when it's done to them, when you call them out, you can call a narcissist. This is how you could tell when a narcissist does something, when someone does something to the narcissist, and then later on, you start to see how they'll do things to other people, and then you call them out on it, and they might deny it. And then the final stage is they do it to you. And then there's no denying it. But the thing is, when you catch it the first time and you put boundaries, they'll know right there and then if they could keep trying you, or if, hey, you caught them. So if you caught them, a lot of times they're not going to keep trying that shit with you no more, because you caught them. You caught them, or you got to catch it early on, because the narcissists, they pick and choose who they treat the way that they treat. And that's how someone like this, they're capable of change, but not the change that you think, and even growing up, I remember times where people used to ask my grandmother, do bad people, do they change? And my grandmother always said, yeah, anyone can change. People are capable of changing, even sinners, right? But I also feel like my grandmother was a very narcissistic person herself. And when I think back now, I'm like, I know a lot of people that never changed, even till death. So I feel like as human beings, we want to believe that certain people are capable of change, but what does that really mean, right? Like I said, it's people out here who are pedophiles. There's people out here who are on the down low. You got people out here doing all kind of shit to other people, marrying people, being with people for convenience. You got all kind of evil shit going on. You know what I'm saying? All kind of evil stuff. And when you think about change, when these people are aware, it's one thing when you're not aware and you're growing. But a lot of these narcissists, they're old enough to know better already. A lot of them. Some of them are older than you, and they calling you big bro. Some of them are older than you. They old enough to be your daddy, and then they dabbing you, talking about, I big homie, and you like, big homie, you older than me. What the fuck you talking about? You know what I'm saying? A lot of these narcissists, yeah, they could change. You know, they could change to a certain extent, but to their core, that's who they're gonna always be. Like, straight up, that's who they're always gonna be to their core. I've yet to see, like, any narcissist that I grew up with, any narcissist parent, family member, they never changed, never apologized to this day. That's why I'm a true believer that a lot of these narcissists, they don't change. And then a lot of them, when you do see certain changes, it's because they need something or it's convenient for them. And life isn't perfect, but when, like I said, when you realize, even when you did bad things in life that you didn't know right from wrong, or you had to learn things the hard way, you knew to your core you were a good person. You knew to your core you didn't want to cause suffering to someone. And if someone brought some type of awareness to you that you were making them sad or you were causing pain onto them, you've always been the type of person that you wanted people to feel good. You never wanted people to feel bad. You always wanted to fix the problem, right? That's who you are to your core, no matter what bad things in life or bad influences you've had. But to the narcissist core, that's really who they are, and you don't want to believe it. And yeah, this person can say, oh, you know what? I won't go online and meet underage people anymore because I can go to jail and my double life can be exposed. This person can say that they've changed because they don't do certain things anymore. That's hidden. But you can never unchange your past until you make peace with your past. You can never fully change certain things from your past. Certain things you don't have no control of. You can't go back to the past. Certain people, you can't make amends with them. Certain people passed away. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But when you can't make peace with your past and look your past in the eyes, then there's never going to be any true change. Sometimes you don't feel like because you were mean to someone in your childhood, you got to go look for the person from your childhood. But if you ever came across this person, or if life put you in this, if life was to put you in the same room as this person, right? If life was to magically, because sometimes it's a small world, you might not want to bring up what happened, but you might tell this person, hey, we're going to be working together, and you might feel like, I don't want to say nothing. You might be embarrassed and not say nothing because you feel like, I'm not the same person, and I would hope they don't think I'm the same person. They should be mature, just as mature as I know, as me, to know that was a long time ago. And I don't really have an interest in being friends with you, and you probably don't have an interest in being friends with me. And I don't even feel like it needs to be addressed. You know, you might come into situations like that where stuff you might feel like doesn't need to be addressed. Um, and other times you might feel like, no, it needs to be addressed because it still haunts me to this day. Cause that situation, it actually taught me what not to do. So if I do come across that person, I should say something because I remembered for a reason. Because it impacted me in some type of shape or form, right? But a narcissist, they're not going to give you credit. If they were to be put in the same room, they're going to start rumors. They're going to try to triangulate you. They're going to want to pick up right where they left off. Or they're going to try to make it seem like, oh, I'm going to ignore you and pretend like you're not even there. I know I caused a lot of pain, a lot of trauma in your life. I see that you're still alive. And I'm going to act like indifferent. I'm going to act like I don't even see you. I don't even know you. I don't even remember you. Like you played such a small role in my life because I know I played a big role in destroying your life. And I'm very aware of that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm saying when it comes to change, yeah, they can go out and preach to other people what the bad shit that they've done and how they've changed a lot of their behavior. Yeah, they can go and tell people a lot of this shit. But when you start asking them questions about have they made peace with their past, have they apologized, have they stepped up, do they have children out here they don't take care of? Have they stepped up to take care of these children? I don't care how many years them pass by. I don't care how much hate you get. Have you went to court? Have you went to court? Because, I mean, kids can't do shit. They're kids. Are you mature enough to go to court and do things the right way? Are you running away? Like, you know, so when you think, and this is not my situation, but this is what I've seen with narcissistic men, narcissistic women, is that they change. Some of them, they change certain things. Some of them, you know, they don't think it's anything to change because they feel like, hey, I live life doing everything right. You might be dealing with a narcissistic woman who stays at home and she watches the kids, and you might come home from work and you're tired. You might kick off your shoes. You might throw your jacket on the chair, throw your clothes in the dirty basket, and it's looking like your basket getting full of dirty clothes, and your stay-at-home wife might, oh, you know, you were supposed to wash your clothes. You were supposed to wash your clothes. I'm not doing it for you anymore. You gotta wash it because we're not on good terms, right? And you might think to yourself, well, if you're not going to wash them, just don't say nothing to me because I just got home from work and I'm really tired and I really want to go to sleep. And this person, this narcissistic wife, she ain't worked a day in her life. She don't know what it feels like to be tired. She'll say, "Oh, I'm tired too of taking the kids to school and cooking and cleaning," right? But they can't put themselves on your shoes, and in their mind they might feel like you're the narcissist. You don't spend time with your kids. You don't do this, you don't do that. So you'll see that people will throw the word narcissist around loosely. So yeah, there are people that have narcissistic traits that can change, right? They might not understand the stuff that they're doing is disrespectful. Sometimes the stuff is addressed and they might still not understand it, because a lot of people don't understand shit till it happened to them, or until they lose a good thing and then they realize I was complaining about shit I shouldn't have been complaining about because this person was a good parent, a provider. They might just be tired. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain shit that people don't understand, and then they'll view shit differently. But when you're dealing with a true narcissist, it's not that they don't understand what they're doing is bad, is that they're doing it intentionally, is that when they're gaslighting you and you're reacting, they're doing it knowing you're reacting, knowing the pain that they're causing, knowing the pain that they're causing you is going to affect you months or even years. It's to the point where they will cause so much pain to the point that they will make you sick. They will make you ill. And even while making you sick, ill, make you lose your finances, lose your mind, lose your health, lose your support system. The problem with a narcissist is that they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop because they're not thinking about you. They're not doing this necessarily only because they want to hurt you. They're doing it because they have an ulterior motive. So when you get out of these situations and you change for the better, you realize that someone who has ulterior motives, and they use these things to validate their actions, has a lot to learn about life. You realize that this behavior, it stems from childhood. So how can you teach or help someone that is mentally in the level of a child? How can you parent a grown ass adult that has the emotional intelligence of a child, who's living in an adult world, who's a physical adult, right? But who has the emotional intelligence of a child? How can you help this person? Because it doesn't mean because they have the emotional intelligence of a child that they act like a child. This person can be very informative. This person can have a doctor's degree. It can be very smart and can still be narcissistic because they have the emotional intelligence of a child. They think, oh, I'm a doctor. It's not hard to do the right things, to educate yourself. You don't need to have a lot of money to do